you guys, what's up? It's your girl Zalika here with the French-American fam. Welcome back to our channel. Today I have something fun to talk about. I'm going to share with you all American things that shocked my French husband. This will be arranged from least shocking to most shocking. So if you want to know the most shocking thing that he experienced, stay tuned till the end of this video. Okay, so the first one that he experienced was culture shock to American highways, trucks, and cars. Everything here is so much bigger than France. We have this huge highway system. You can find highways that have 5, 6, 7, up to 8 lanes. You can see big trucks, big 18-wheelers, monster trucks, SUVs everywhere. In the South, it's pretty common to find pickup trucks more often than if you go up north because a lot of people down south use trucks for work. You can go to a parking lot and find rows and rows of pickup trucks in France. You would not really see that. Part of it is because the roads are much smaller. In the countryside of France, you can find 1 lane or maybe 2 lane roads and they're barely big enough to fit 1 car. It was so funny to me on our first road trip because when I looked back at all the footage that my husband captured, I noticed that there were so many videos of big trucks, the road, the cars. I was like, why are there so many videos of cars and trucks and the road? It really dawned on me that he was amazed because everything here is so much bigger and our highways are so spread out, our roads are so spread out, and you really have so much space. We're here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where you can find many pickup trucks. My husband did just recently purchased a Ram 2500. This is a very big pickup truck, and it's not something that you would normally see in France. Now, the second culture shock that my French husband experienced is the drive-thrus. We seemingly have drive-thrus for everything. We have fast food drive-thrus, we have coffee shop drive-thrus for pharmacies, drive-thrus for banks, drive-thrus for the oil change or the car maintenance. You live in the land of convenience. You can just be in your car and get everything done while in your car and then go about on your way. While France does have a lot of things like stores and coffee shops and banks and pharmacies everywhere, it's just not at the level of convenience as it is here in the US. And if you like this video so far, please don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments. The third thing that shocked my husband was credit cards and credit scores. The credit card is used for so many transactions, and credit scores and credit histories are also used for a lot of things like mortgages, bank loans. If you want to rent a house or an apartment, banks, lenders, and landlords use credit scores and credit histories to check for a person's history, basically. They want to see that you have good payment history, you're not missing any payments. They want to see how much you're borrowing and if you can actually afford to borrow more. And if you want to rent a house or an apartment, they want to check that you haven't had previous evictions or that you're not delinquent on any of your payments. This is something that might be a little bit shocking for a French person because the credit score system does not exist in France and people just don't borrow money like they do here in the US. Normally, they just save and they're more frugal in their mindset, so they don't purchase things that they don't need in France as often as people do here in the US. The next thing that shocked my French husband was how friendly American strangers and our neighbors are. This is something that I think even I was a little bit shocked by because I lived in many big cities like Dallas, New Orleans, and Chicago previously, and people are just not as friendly in bigger cities. But here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a lot of our neighbors, they were so sweet to us when we first moved in. They did the typical American thing by coming to our door, welcoming us to the neighborhood. They gave us gifts, made small talk, they asked how we were. They check in on us often actually, and they still do come by. Our neighbor next door, sometimes he'll go and get the trash and bring it up on trash day. Other things that they do that are really sweet is bring us fruits and vegetables that they've grown. It's definitely one of those culture shocks that's positive, but at the same time a little bit disorienting because in France, people don't really tend to do small talk with strangers. For example, if you're in a line and you're going to check out at the grocery store, normally you're not going to do small talk with the cashier or strangers at a store. But here in the US, you can go to a store and randomly, some people will just start chatting with you, and they'll talk to you like they've known you for a while. For a French person, you might be a little disoriented at first, like, why is this stranger talking to me like they know me? But really, that's just how Americans are. Usually they'll just talk to anyone if you'll give them the audience. And the biggest culture shock that my French husband experienced here in America was how indirect Americans can be in comparison to French people. French people are very direct, straight to the point. They don't sugarcoat things. They're not trying to spare your feelings when they communicate. They just tell it like it is. They're just a lot more direct when it comes to communication. So for an American person, I think this is part of why the French can come off as a little bit rude, because Americans are not used to communicating in such a direct manner, and Americans are more likely to speak with tact. They do this to not offend, and they do this because there's so many cultures here in the US. It's a very diverse country, and it really is a melting pot. If somebody has feedback to share here in the US, instead of just going directly to the negative feedback, normally they'll sandwich it. So they'll say something positive, and then they'll add the feedback, the negative feedback in the mix, and then they'll say something positive again at the end. If somebody has a report that they submit and the report just isn't good, an American would probably say, I really like the work that you're doing here. You contribute so much to the team, but the report that you submitted has a few flaws that need to be fixed. But I'm sure with time, we can come up with a solution together to make it better. And in France, they would be a lot more direct and straight to the point. They would just say, this report is awful and there's a lot of mistakes here. For a French person coming to the US, it's a little bit more indirect here in communication. People do tend to sugarcoat things a lot more. And sometimes this can come across as insincere to a French person who might be more used to getting clear, straight, no sugarcoating communication. Those are the American things that shocked my French husband while living in America. And let me know what you think. Please add a comment and share. Have you ever experienced any culture shocks while here in the US? Is there anything that jumps out to you specifically that might be different in your culture? And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye!